Mrs. Shepherd? Mrs. Deneno?
Present.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Holden?
Here.
Mrs. Burdick?
Here.
Chairman Yem?
Here. All right, approval of minutes, February 10th.
I'll make approval.
Okay.
Second.
All approve? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Citizen input, actually, we need to move the new business as citizen input since there's no backup material. And want me to explain why we do that?
Okay.
Okay. It goes back a couple of commissions ago that anything put on the agenda, if there was any backup material that needed to be submitted when it was put on the agenda.
Right.
Otherwise, it has to come under citizen input because we can't really do a motion on it.
Okay.
Okay? So, we will now take the fishing pier as... Go ahead. You going to speak?
Me?
Yeah, you want to speak?
Oh, I wasn't expecting to speak. I was waiting for Barry Siegel. I'm Mary Lucie County. I'm Cole Capolla's grandmother. And, well, we're hoping...
Actually, please come over.
I'm very sorry. I
I'm saying.
totally caught me off guard. I'm so sorry. I just thought I was going to be a spectator. I do that best.
Surprise us.
Yes, okay. Okay, my name is Mary Lou Chambriello. I'm Cole Capolla's grandmother. I reside at 8256 105th Court here in Vero Beach. And like I said, I'm kind of surprised. I was hoping that Barry's here to speak for me. And
So you're going to hand it off?
Barry
right?
Siegel, yes, I like to hand it off. Go right ahead. Thank you.
I apologize, Barry Siegel. How are you?
Sometimes we're
Late,
pot.
just like you.
Yeah, Angie kept me anyways. And I apologize. I don't know if there was a question or if you just want to hear about the project. What can I tell you?
Actually, the way it's presented to us, we have to hear about it. We can't really make a motion on it because if there is any backup material, normally things that come before us, we put on the agenda that we have backup material.
Right. I was told it was more of an informational reception.
That's great.
To give you an idea.
Well, just to let you know, we really will not be making any motion after what you present.
Right, and I guess I'm not totally familiar how much of a motion or how much of an action by your commission is needed for this project. If it does happen,
Probably none.
Okay, because it happens at the park. I think Mr. Slezak wanted me to make sure that you were kept in the loop as to what it is.
We
Certainly,
appreciate that.
any advice that you can offer would be certainly welcome and accepted to help make it the best project we can have. But to give you the rundown, as Mary Lou was saying, Cole Capolla, many of you know, was the young gentleman that passed away on the terrible accident in the bridge last October. He was an avid fisherman, and so as a way for the community to reach out and the family to reach out and to create a lasting tribute and also to improve our community and to give kids and fishermen alike a place to go, we proposed the idea of establishing a fishing pier off of Riverside Park somewhere. Originally, we had looked at coming off of the peninsula that is Red Flower, and for a number of reasons, especially through the guidance of Monty Falls, the location is probably going to be moved just a little bit north of that, so it'll be on the western shore facing bank behind the larger pavilions. There would be a T-shaped fishing pier to come off of there. I don't know that we have in actual dimensions or sizes yet as to what it's going to be. But the idea is putting it in that location was to give us access to water, to give us access to light. The response that we're getting is that, especially by lighting it, a fishing pier construction in that area will bring a ton of fish into that area. It'll actually create a very nice fishing area. It's out of the way of any boat traffic, so that's not a concern of ours going forward, or more importantly for the marina director who's been involved. And the construction will hopefully be paid for at least in half through a FIND grant. If you're familiar with the Florida Inland Navigational District, will offer grants. And at this point in time, we're estimating the engineering and design phase to be about $25,000, construction phase to be somewhere around $100,000. In a best case scenario, the FIND grant would reimburse for half of each of those phases. There's various community fundraising that will go into raising money for the construction and the design as well. And we're also looking at, if you can imagine, the treads for the fishing pier, we'll also sell naming rights or some kind of rights to those so that people can put messages on there. And we haven't come up with an exact mission as to what those will be limited to, if anything. They could be messages related to cold. They could be messages related to other people's children, or it could just be messages from people that love Vero Beach or fishing or what have you. And so that, in a nutshell, is what the project looks like. The fine grant is placed out over 2 years, but we'd like to get the construction, the engineering and the design work and the construction done in a much shorter period of time than that. So that, in a nutshell, is what the project is.
I think it's great.
Well, thank you.
How big is the pier going to be?
If I had to guess, it'd probably be 50 feet out, 100 feet across, something along. I think I saw numbers along those lines. Right now there's a sketch that Monty Falls did, and it's not to scale. It's not really anything that we'd call a design yet. But I mean, it'll be pretty sizable. It will, the vision I have in my head, Mary Lou probably made something a little bit different. I'm envisioning something that could hold 50 to 100 people without, really thinking about it. It'll be size. It's not going to be, the size of the dais, for example. I mean, it's going to, we'd like to make it something. If we're going to do it, we want to make it something substantial. It's got to come out a little bit to get us away from the bank to begin with, and then it'll run north and south, I think, quite a bit, and especially if we can add electricity to it. One note is that it really is not going to be designed at all to be receptive for boats or other water traffic. It's going to be strictly a fishing pier. For safety reasons, there really won't be something that people will be able to boat up to. I'm not even sure what the depth is in that area where we're going to end up anyway that would really allow much. For safety reasons, there will have to be a couple stepways down towards the water if someone falls off so they can get back on. And that might be, make it open up for kayakers and people along those lines that want to enjoy the fishing pier from that direction.
So Monty doing the grant?
Monty is actually taking the lead on the grant, yes. And then Paul Drittenbass is our local representative to the fine board, and I've already talked to him, and he's been involved, and he thinks it will score pretty highly on the project. We do feel pretty strongly that even without the fine grant that we can go ahead and still support financially the project between fundraising, and the family has been very generous, and they're wanting to complete this as well.
So you already started. How far are you on permit process? Well, you don't have any drawings, so you can't even be on the permit process.
No, that should be coming shortly. We wanted to just see, I think, how we scored in Paul's eyes, at least with the fine grant. And again, not that that's determinative, but we at least wanted to see how that would settle out. That seems to be pretty favorable. So we will be in the process of selecting engineers to do the design work.
Actually, I think with concurrence, we request that you come back once you get your drawings and everything else. It will be more information.
Well, at that opportunity, we'll be able to come and ask you to donate money to the to buy some treads or whatnot. So.
Where do you want to be in line?
Yeah, right. We'll be behind.
As you know, you live in this town. It's daily.
We'll be behind all the other fishing piers that are coming looking for money. Appropriately.
Well, that'll move you up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, put you right at the top.
All right. Well, thank you. Anybody else have questions?
Are there bathrooms anywhere in that area?
There is actually, if you can picture Riverside Park. Now we're talking about the area between Memorial Island and the big gazebos. Okay, there's that north run stretch. You have the various picnic pavilions in there. The largest picnic pavilion has across the street from it has actual bathroom facilities. In that there's a little standalone building on the east side of whatever that road is called.
It's right across from where the volleyball courts are.
Exactly.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's probably, I haven't been in the women's room that much.
That's for the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's what they use it for, all the Riverside Park affairs. So, yeah, that's plenty.
And then you would have the tennis facilities if you really got stretched, but I don't see that happening.
That's pretty far down, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd have to hold it a long time to make it down there.
And parking should be no issue.
I don't think so. I mean, there's tons of parking. I mean, if it were to become, part of the vision would be perhaps a annual fishing tournament. In that case, if we had that many people, there's still overflow parking there in the field.
But you're thinking 50 feet in length rather than 100?
I'm guessing.
Something like that.
That could change a lot, couldn't it? I mean, just in the design as you
Sure. I mean, I'm not too concerned with the bottom of the topography there. I think that's probably pretty uniform. But someone who with a much greater fishing knowledge than I ever have will say it's got to go out this far to make it worthwhile. And someone will say, well, you need to go this far to keep people from catching each other, in the eye with hooks and things like that. I mean, I suppose what we'll do is we'll come up with a budget, figure out what we can make, what we can raise the most or most efficiently, and then make it as big as we can under that budget.
Yeah, the one under the bridge is what, just guessing,
That's got to be
200 or 300 feet.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I think that's probably like, 20, 25 feet wide.
Is that wide? I don't know if it's that wide. I haven't been under it in a while, and that one, of course, is concrete. This one would probably be the artificial treads instead. So again, that we can imprint them.
Sounds great to me. You got something to say?
Kiwanis for years has had a fishing tournament for kids on that bridge area. And we can get over 200 kids in there easily, so they fish and eat. So
Yeah, but that's 300 feet or more. That's
yeah.
I mean, it's something that we could look to accommodate because certainly for feeding those kids, this setting would be far better than under the bridge.
definitely. Then maybe to get
They
some.
would be large enough.
We'll figure it out. I mean, again, I've just seen some price estimates, and so for me, I'm better on dollars and the dollars numbers. I don't know what that translates into size, but I mean, we'll make it very public once we have those drawings, including coming back to share the information with you.
I would say you're probably $200-300 a square foot even.
Yeah,
Something like, depending on whether you go concrete or go otherwise.
Yeah, I have no idea. Never built one, but
I just know what my dock cost.
Oh, I would imagine there's a scale of economy that as we get bigger, that price goes down per square foot. Unless you have a 200-foot dock behind your house. I mean, I don't know what you build, but
There's the expert. He's being quiet. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
Well-
Mr. Chairman, just for informational purposes, the family has worked with not only Monty, but we've used Tim Garbenhauer, and obviously Rob has been involved in that, so it's really been a very good effort, and it is more in a concept stage right now until we get some design, and I know Monty is talking to folks that are in the fishing business to get some more information to pass on.
Are you thinking of lighting it? Did I miss that?
I would think that we would like to get water and light out to it. I think that was some of the reason Monty wanted to move it out to that location was there's already water out there and there's already electricity out there, and so that would be definitely part of it. And I would say your city manager has been an excellent source for us. Convened a meeting of all the big wigs that have anything to do with anything having to do with this project that got everybody together between him and Mr. Slezak getting everybody organized. It's very appreciative. So thank you.
Well, thank all of you for your participation.
Thank you for your
In starting
Absolutely.
it. Because,
It could really be a benefit to the park.
well, without question.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little surprising that it's been this long that there hasn't been a fishing pier out there. So this will be a
Function of money.
there you go.
We've had issues of trying to put a boardwalk across there and everything else. I'm sure did you grow up here?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And that's been going on for 30, 40 years that I know
Right.
of. So it will be a great contribution, and I think it will be beneficial to all ages.
Well, good. We're glad to hear your board say that. We appreciate the commission doing that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And old business, we have none. Recreation Director's matters. Are you ready, Patty?
I'm ready. Got a busy rest of the month. First, we have our aerial antics kids performance and gymnastics kids performances at the Firefighters Fair. Starts this Saturday. We have a show at 1:30, another show at 3, and then we have another show Monday the 16th at 6. Also coming this Saturday, we have our rummage sale that benefits our performing arts and aerial antics kids, and that will be at the old Dodgertown Pro Shop, Golf Course Pro Shop, from 8 to noon, and that's the Saturday. We have the 56th annual Easter egg hunt March 28th starts at 10 a.m. That's going to be at Mulligan's in Vero Beach. Thank you, Mulligan's.
So
We're expecting, as in past years, 500 or so. We get a huge crowd, so it's a big event. It's gone out to all the schools. Again, that's 10 o'clock Saturday, March 28th. And then we also we're having a cheerleading camp during spring break this year. So we have something for the kids to do during spring break. That'll be at Leisure Square, and Angie's running that, Angie Holzhauser. And it'll be Monday through Thursday because Friday is a city holiday, 7:30 to 5:30.
Is this the first time you've done this?
We've done it in the past. We
But
took
not
a
last
few
year.
years off and added it actually to our summer, 10 weeks of summer. So this time we figured we'd take it back to spring break, give the kids something to do during spring break.
What age group?
7 and up.
get them ready for tryouts.
Yes, that's true. Because
That's
those are in
when
May.
tryouts.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we've already taken in probably 15 to 20 kids so far. So
I'm sure you'll get a lot just for that reason because
Yeah.
they all start doing tryouts.
it's true. And I think that's it for March.
That's it? Mm-hmm. Okay, Chairman's Matters. As I spoke before the meeting, I'd like to move the location of next month's meeting to Leisure Square. The purpose being that we want to include staff, start our budget process, get their ideas and things like that.
And see the project that's underway as well.
Yes, the pavilion.
They started the
Yes.
pavilion or the roof?
It's up. I mean, it looks like it's almost finished. It looks really nice.
What about the roof?
Don't know about the roof. It looks like it's on.
No, I think it's not about the roof.
Oh, at Leisure Square. Okay, that hasn't started yet, but they're working on it. They're meeting about it. I know that. But it hasn't.
Are they going to build it during your summer camps, or?
Possibly. I don't have a start date for it yet, but I will let you know as soon as I do.
I mean, do you have the contractor now?
I believe Jeff has met with the contractor.
Okay. You should be able to do that in, 2 weeks?
The construction work?
Yes, sir.
It'll take more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You
I
think
think
there,
there's going to be a little time involved in that because I think the rotting wood and all that's going to have to be replaced in some of that area.
yeah, my concern is you get it done before you start your summer camps.
I'm pretty sure that's the goal.
'Cause you don't want hot tar and kids.
No.
It's bad enough around us adults.
So, all right, that's all my matters. Members' matters. Start down there.
I don't have anything except looking forward to the Easter egg hunt. It'll be fun.
Under the Oaks is this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Riverside Park.
Dogs allowed.
No. Please.
You got your sign?
Under the
I can make you one.
We have signs, thanks.
Yeah, we went through that last year, right, about getting the cops to enforce it.
Right. It's not our job to enforce it.
No,
you
it's
know.
cops.
Right. We request and then.
I'll double check that.
Your turn.
Even though he's no longer on our commission, but he's with the county, I'd like to have Mike Redstone's mother be in memory of her. Her services are Friday, and Mike just lost his father a few weeks ago, so this is a rough time for him.
Oh, can I say something? I forgot. Is that okay? I want to thank Tammy for 30 years of service to the city because
Yes.
I didn't get to do that.
Yes, that was
So,
a very nice presentation.
thank you, Tammy.
All right, Greg, your turn.
My only question, the meeting in Leisure Square will be on the 14th?
Yes.
Yes.
At what time? About the same
And you're
time?
David Sick, Greg. That's fine.
Still at 4 o'clock.
If the city clerk
It'll
lets
be
her
4, right?
assistant come over there.
I have to call Jeff and
Where are your exercise
Garden
clothes?
versus some meeting.
Right.
And Jim, you're definitely invited to come over there.
I'm good friends with his
I think I can make it, assuming it's on a date that.
No, I understand that, but I just, we found that the experience of having the meeting over there, we get different input than we get here. So,
Not a problem, but I know that the staff likes that as well.
I forgot one more thing.
okay, we got till 5 o'clock.
Jim reminded me of it. I really enjoyed seeing the horses last week.
The Clydesdales?
And you were busy with your camera.
I'll tell you, the Clydesdales were outstanding.
I've seen it before, but it was great.
Yeah, that was really, and I think it was a good shot in the arm for us at
Just
a
that couple
good time
down the
for people
road.
to be around. I mean, and the stop at Mulligan's and the stop at the
Yes.
Riverside Cafe and the stop down at the Waldo's, I think really, took a point and made a point, but the people were just outstanding.
And just
It really
letting the
worked out.
families go by to have their pictures taken with their kids was just
Yeah.
wonderful.
And if you followed through, there were a lot of people that walked
I
behind
was gonna say
the
that walked
wagon
behind
coming
them.
back
I really
into
enjoyed
Riverside
that.
Park. So it worked out extremely well. So, yeah, we really thank the Bush family for doing that for us. Now we just encourage him to do it again and possibly at Christmas.
And I went to an air show at the airport 2 weeks ago Saturday. It was kind of misty, but
Where it
it was
rained.
really great. So thanks to Eric.
Yeah, Eric really put together, and that really draws a big crowd, typically speaking, and the weather was just a little bad for airplanes. Well, a lot of the planes didn't even come in, so we had that problem. But you had the big ones, which was
Yes, I
what a
heard
lot of
them
people
when I
come
got
from.
home.
So it did, I mean, considering the situation, but it just goes to show that, God loves Clydesdales more than he does airplanes. That's just the way it is.
They're like rock stars.
Super Bowl heroes is the way I call it, since my team didn't make the game, so it was.
There you go.
You sound like you got over your cold.
Yes, I think I
No, he's
did.
giving it to me.
You take enough medication, eventually it's either you die or it dies. So it's fortunately for
Glad
me,
it
I've
was-
been able to outlive one more.
I was going to say, glad you survived.
That's right. Well, one other point while I've got the microphone real quick, and as Patty's going to check on the art league, I think it's the art club is one that's donated money to pay for paint for putting in lines out at the parking. We're starting to have so much activity in the park now that you've got the play at the theater going on. The museum is starting to have a lot more exhibits and starting to do activities. And so we have a juggling of parking there, especially on the busy weekends. And so fortunately, I think Rob's been able to work through most of that and try to address it. So, and then on top of that, we're going to try to do something about the parking on Ocean Drive and the employees up there. So that could be another impact in that general area. But it's just a busy time in Vero, and the so-called Zero Veros, I think, is a talk of the past.
Somebody told me there's a St. Patrick's Day parade this weekend.
Yes, ma'am,
There
there is
is.
10 o'clock Saturday.
So there's that too.
And we actually have two St. Patrick's Day parades in the city of Vero Beach. 14th Avenue was last weekend, and this weekend is going to be
Oceanside
the...
one, right? Is this weekend?
Yeah,
So-
traffic on Beachland's going to be nuts.
It will be. Although the one on the Ocean Drive is relatively short, so the impact is minimal to the businesses, which is what a lot of people like. And as you probably know, the family that puts that St. Patrick's Day parade on actually owns a business on the ocean side, and I don't think they want a total disruption for a couple hours or anything. So it is
It's usually
relatively
over
short.
pretty quick.
It is. It is.
Within an hour, I mean, I think they block the streets, and I think it's all done within.
It is, and you catch a lot of the folks that were at the farmers market sort of participate because it starts at 10 o'clock. So,
It's a nice thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to say I did the gallery stroll on Friday, and it was so nice to see so many people walking up and down 14th Avenue. It was really a great event.
did you take the bus from the parking lot?
No.
Okay. If you can't find a parking place, a parking lot across from Jetson's, the artists are now paying for a GO line to have that. It is completely full. I mean, that parking lot is now being used where most people not this gallery stroll, but the one before, my wife and I, the bus was so full, we just decided to walk up there to 14th without getting on the bus. There were so many people, but it really is becoming very good. And it takes you all the way down the gallery stroll, so you get to see all of the businesses if you ride that bus. So it's really a great activity, and appreciate the artists and the art studios putting that on, because they are paying 100% of that freight.
Well, it was nice because all the restaurants were busy.
Yes.
From the people from the gallery stroll.
And we're really getting the restaurants. Somebody told me today we have 35 down there. I have not personally counted them that would be included in the Main Street area. But the Blue Star, which is one of our newest additions, that anchors on the north side, and then you have the Bijou and Evans Ari's and all those, and they seemed to. The last gallery stroll did a great. I mean, they had a good business. So.
And the crab stop is delicious.
Yes, and I haven't been to the Garage Pizza, but they tell me that
great.
It's outstanding too.
That's good.
Yeah, because they do the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is supposed to be really good, and I've heard nothing but good reviews on that one.
We drove through downtown today just after lunch, and it was slammed down there. So I think, they're doing well down there now.
And that really is good, because it's one of those places that we need to have participation. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of hotels like they do on Oceanside, but we just need to get the participation from residents as well as visitors, and I think we're doing that.
Is there anybody talking about doing anything with the power plant at the moment?
Yes, I was talking about getting to court on June the 2nd to try to get the power plant back. But we still have 2 or 3 different entities that have shown an interest in the facility. One of them keeps calling me about every month and says, hey, don't take us off the list. So there's a possibility. I hope that it's something we can do. My recommendation to the council, which I've made pretty known to the council and others, that is to sell the building as is, because I think we've done a lot of the cleanup, taking care of most of the issues, and it's really a safe building. It's going to take quite a bit of capital investment. As you know, the floor is not in most of the building. So. Right.
It was very nice how you and the city council recognized the Pocahontas building too at your last meeting.
Yes,
80-year-old man. It's unbelievable what he does.
I had not met him before.
Me neither.
And so it was very interesting. But he's on site every day. I mean, he's
I love
and that
historical
really
buildings.
Also, there is an economic development committee that is meeting that is not Main Street, but it's one of those that's doing the tax increment part of it. And one of the emphasis they put on is an amphitheater that they would like to see, and what they would like to do is put it down near the Heritage Center where it's facing 14th. And so you could take advantage of where the bands are now, right there at that intersection, and put them on a band. Now, a lot of this is still dreaming because nobody has any money yet, but just to let you know that is something that has been surfaced. But the only properties that anybody's been able to identify that attaches to 14th Avenue is obviously near the
My
Heritage
brother's
Center.
on the historical area of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I can ask him to give you some info, what he's doing.
That would be fine. That would be fine. 'Cause it is something that seems to be catching momentum, people talking about
That's what
it,
he
if
said.
nothing else. And I think it would be a good addition. Now, a lot of people, the cynical side of that is that's just going to be someplace else for people to lay down and all this other stuff. But I think we can make it uncomfortable for that, as we have done in our pavilions, and still maintain a place where
But
the
they're
average
doing
person-
outside movies for families. I know my church is doing that here in Vero now.
We did that in Winchester, Virginia. We would have downtown, and it was one of those blow-up type of backgrounds, and show movies for children and all that to try to get
First
adults in
United
there.
Methodist is doing it.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and you don't really charge for it. It's the
You don't
movies are
either.
sort of donated, but it gets people into the restaurants again.
And your mention of the power plant, possible sale, is it going to be at all related when you finally work out a final agreement with FP&L?
Oh no, this is the diesel plant. This is the one.
Just the
that's
diesel
the one. Yeah, just the diesel plant. No, the one on the river. I think what our conversation really was is what goes in there really needs to complement what's on 14th and as a point of destination and not office spaces as an example, but more of a point of destination, and that's what we're trying to keep our eye focused on that.
Isn't there still a big diesel engine in there?
Yes, there is. There's one. I think there were 3 when it first started, but there's one in there.
So you got 3 of them in there?
No, he only got one. And the problem with it is if you ever go into the building, it's got a real odor because of the diesel fuel. And, I mean, it was just stopped in place and left in there. And so that'll be something somebody else will have to address in the building itself.
Is that building on the historic registry?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. They did a very good job in the restoration of the brick. And if you look at the back of it, it's not bricked all the way around. And part of the historical features of the diesel plant is that's where they move the engines in and out, because you could take that back down, put something in, and then replace it. So it is not a permanent type of wall type of thing.
But you haven't treated the soil where that existing?
Yes, we have treated the soil as well as the groundwater. And we've gotten full compliance on the groundwater, and all the soil samples have come back negative. It's been time. Now, we haven't taken, for example, there's a containment area underneath the engine that's in there. That containment area typically is reinforced concrete. And since we haven't had the engine up, we don't know what's in that containment area.
Okay.
And so
that still has to be done.
It does. But in theory, it shouldn't be anything but diesel. So.
In theory.
In theory, yes.
Are people backing away from it, waiting to see what all aboard Florida is going to do?
Now, the interested parties, with the exception of one, the Cultural Council really envisioned having outdoor activities, but I think they've come to understand with the railroad that would be very difficult to make happen. But the other companies, for example, the brewery as well as the white spirits, in both of those cases, they feel like they can overcome the odor that's permeated the walls, and they can minimize that issue, and that the train would have little or no effect on them, because the building is very, very sound. I mean, it's and solid, so I don't think you're going to have issues inside if you maintain all your activities inside the building.
And I remember it was kept clean as a whistle when they were in it.
Yeah, it's pretty clean. I mean, even that engine is very clean. You look and look at it, and is it an architectural feature somebody wants to retain? I don't know. From my novelist look, it just takes up space that, you got to get your square footage in order to get the return on investment. So.
All right. Any other comments, questions? All right, then we're adjourned. Next meeting, April 14th, on Leisure Square.